Okay,
Okay, I think we shall start.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Assalamualaikum. On behalf of Start IX, we would like to express our appreciation to, I'm sorry, is it Sheikh Shakila? It's okay. Shakila, I just refer you as Shakila. Since you are the only audience for today, so you have the privilege, the special privilege to sit through our demo for this morning. First of all, let me start off by introducing our company. Our company is called Start IX Berhad. We are actually a certified or registered training provider under HRDC or HRD Corp. We have been in this space or in this business since 2022, and to date, we have a client base of close to 540 companies, and we have in total trained about 1,200 participants. So our main focus area when it comes to training is we focus on operational excellence. We also focus on strategic leadership and personal mastery. We cover business and financial intelligence, last but not least, sustainable innovation. Now we are moving to our next phase in introducing the next solution, which is our learning management system, LMS. Hence why we are actually organizing this demo today to basically introduce this LMS to the Malaysian market. In order for us to do this, we are collaborating with LoopJab, which is a service provider for this LMS for the Malaysian market. So today we have the founder and the main architect behind LoopJab, which is Mr. Ahmad. So he will be taking us through the whole demo today. So not wanting to uh, delay any longer, let me invite Mr. Ahmad to take over the floor and basically start the demo.
Possibly. Thank you so much, Ibrahim, for the introduction. Mr. Shakila Muhammad, one question, because I did receive a list of the actual, well, let's say, participants who had given feedback on what is their biggest interest. Now, and the list, it's anonymous, so I cannot see what exactly the biggest interests of you, what your biggest interest is, Mr. Shakila Muhammad. So maybe if you could just write in the chat what your core issues, or let's say what your yeah, I mean your core goals are with the intention that you came in here, because we also had topics like HRD Corp and stuff like this, claimability. So we just don't want to waste your time there. Although, of course, we will go through the demo, but it would be great if you could just give us some hints so I could adjust the demo accordingly. That would be good. Yeah, of course, no problem. I mean, on the one hand, we have, of course, tracking employees, compliance, skills, onboarding. So basically, the demo itself is pretty vast. You know, we can go the software itself, but is it maybe something that goes into claimability, HRD Corp? Is that something that you are interested in? Or maybe we just do everything so you get like a whole overview. Maybe Kay, you can jump in later on so that I could just start exactly with the demo.
Hey, you're muted, Kay.
All right.
Okay. So I
just-
think Ahmad, I think we just go an overview.
All
Then
right.
later on she can scale towards what she has more interest in.
All right, no problem. Okay, so let me share the screen first and foremost. Of course, it's denied. I have a new laptop, you have to know. So what is happening is the following. I have to first quit and reopen Teams, so I'll be back in a second. I'm sorry. So I'll be back. Just give me 1 minute.
Sorry, Shakila. So the LMS system that we are currently doing is basically in tailoring more towards Malaysian market. So here we have three types of LMS. One is for corporate HR, one is for a training provider, one is school. But today what will be demonstrated will be the corporate HR. So in the corporate HR, you have a few login windows. They have HR admin, and then you have the learner. Learner will be the employees. But for the HR, right, you can basically do your onboarding for your staff, and then where you put all the details of the staff, and then also for example, you have already done TNA, then you can also put inside and then see their punya skills, and then also the training that you want them to go to, and it has also the skill matrix. Now that Ahmad is back, then he can show further into the corporate HR LMS.
All right. Thank you. Okay, for bridging the gap.
Yeah, no
And
worries.
yeah, about bridging the gap, I mean, that's exactly where it starts. So let me start maybe with the overview, with the main concept of this whole learn management system. So you basically get a feel on how it works. When you attend major HR events nowadays, they all focus on one pain, on one big thing. It's the shift on how to hire and how to develop your workforce actually. So we'd rather like to look into skills that the workforce has, the skills necessary to actually do some task or to accomplish the goals that you have set in your company. And then, of course, there is this gap in between the reality of what is and what we would like to have, right? And so this is what this whole software, this whole workforce management system, basically, it's a whole OS for HR learning and development. What it empowers you to do. First and foremost, basically define the roles, which could be something like a customer success manager. What skills does a customer success manager actually need, right? And then you just list out the skills, and also what you can say is, well, how important, or let's say how strong has that person to be in that particular skill. Let's say, for example, a technical project manager should have some knowledge about, let's say, development, maybe software development or some technical stuff. But as a project manager, he's not required to be an expert in development, right? So for that, we have expert software developers. So this is why that is interesting there. So what we do is when we set those roles, we assess the baseline. So where are my employees currently? What is their skill set? What is their level? And then in the next step, we actually see those gaps. What are they lacking? And then inside the demo itself, I will see it just in a second, but inside the program itself, you can then train them. You can actually include courses, create them either yourself, or you can get external trainers to put the course content inside the software for your company, or even you can just write down or manage your trainings that you do out of office, or let's say that you do externally with others, right? So you just basically, you don't have the content itself on the platform, but you simply just write down that that person attended that training, took so many months, had XYZ costs. And so now this person is on that skill level in that particular skill. And then the next phase, then what you would do is to coach and to certify all that. So you can basically see all the certifications that your workforce has and all the skill levels. And then those employees and also the managers of the employees, they can review the skills and basically also give reviews to the employees on how far they are in the journey, how good the skill gap has closed, and so on. And then basically it goes on again. So you then redefine the roles, see what is necessary, and it's this loop, this skill loop that doesn't close. So this is the base on what the LMS software is basically building upon. So now let me just send you through. Now let's say to the welcoming page or to the login page, you have, of course, different roles, right? That would be the admin who sees everything. Then you have the HR employee, the HR admin, who is basically responsible also together with the manager of a certain department to decide whether or not to hire or to upskill. New hire versus upskill is always a business case that you have to keep in mind. It's not always upskilling or reskilling a person. Sometimes it does just makes more sense to hire a new one, right? And this is something that most companies nowadays, they just it's a gut feeling that they follow. They say, okay, we don't have anybody on this position or with this skill set. Um, let's just hire a new person. Although there might be someone in your workforce who's currently working as a salesman, but actually has skills and development as well that he has just um, acquired privately, and nobody knows about it because nobody asked him, because nobody just looks at the salesperson thinking, okay, he can develop as well, right? So that would be the point here, to actually have it transparent and then make the business case out of it. On the other hand side, of course, you have the employee who has to view the trainings. You can just see his own stuff. And then you have the external trainer access. Just as I said, if you hire some external trainers to convey the job or to convey the training, then you can just give them access to insert the training content into your platform, right? So this is the whole core of it. But let's start with the admin view, which is like the overall view where you can see everything. And here you can already see on the main page, you have exactly this view. You can see that you have to define the roles, assess the baseline, spot the gaps, train your people, coach and certify them, and then review and measure and see. Because whatever you don't measure has never happened. This is some wisdom that we always have to keep in mind. Whatever you don't measure is not there. Okay, so let's just start with the defining roles part, where you can basically just add roles or manage the roles that you have. For example, let's say you have the customer success manager who would need like some proficiencies in enterprise onboarding and quarterly business reviews, renewal risk analysis, and so on. And then you can just say, what is the minimum proficiency that role has? Beginner, intermediate, advanced, expert, and of course with the information of how important that is, for this role. So if it's very critical, you can see here GDPR compliance in this case, because of the software maybe that you're selling, that is very important to have this compliance skill or this knowledge about it, then it's critical. And so based on those levels, in the end, the gap will be calculated. And very important also at the bottom of it, you can see the hiring economics, right? So you can set your currency, of course, that can be edited. And then what you do is basically you give it a salary minimum, a salary max, what's current rate on the market. And then you would just estimate how long it would take to hire such a person if you were to hire someone right now. And then also give it a value, how much of a value would that person bring if we hire him. It's it's a task that should be done in order to be able to then weigh what is more costly, basically to hire a new employee or just to reskill or upskill the ones that we already have. In order to make that comparison, you have to have that baseline, right? So this is the point where you would just establish that baseline. And of course, you can also directly set him, that person, with an onboarding path. So whenever you hire a new person that fits that role, that person would automatically be assigned an onboarding course, some onboarding courses, right? So that in this case, we have like a new hire gets new employer onboarding automatically. So whenever he's just introduced into your system, automatically gets all the courses assigned, less paperwork for you, less management, and the employee directly knows where to go and what to do and what to learn next, right? Then in the next step would be, we have, of course, those skills that I just showed you, right? So we have those skills here, and the skills you can, of course, edit and group them as you wish. So for example, we have the product and design, and where we have Figma, product management, and UX UI design. Those are just some separate skills, and it could be different for any other company which is in some other sector currently working on the free market. So this is why this is highly flexible and can be changed at any necessity. So then you have the baseline, right? So this was the second step, and the baseline is basically here the skill matrix that you can see. You can see all your employees, and you can see them, or also their skills on the right hand side, right? So, and whenever you hover over them, you can exactly see, for example, language is also skill and might be there. We have already some clients who have the necessity for their employees to know certain languages in order to send them to other countries in order to represent them and so on. So, right, so this is also set as a skill. And here, for example, certified, it's valid, and what the certification is called and what so on. So whenever you hover over it, you can find it. You can also see expired certifications. So if you just filter after expired, you will see all those employees who have certifications that are all expired. As you can see, GDPR compliance is, well, there should be a course in the near future, right? So in order to get that going again. What you can also do, which is extremely helpful to some, is you might be thinking of a new project and you just want to know if you have the skills in-house, right? So is there someone who can do Python and who knows about AWS at the same time? Yeah, there is. There is Alice Chen, Dan Kim, and Maya Singh. Those three can basically develop in Python, and they also know about AWS cloud infrastructure. So you directly know if you have if you have the skills in-house or if you basically have to hire new ones and so on. So this is just a fast way to understand what your current workforce looks like. And of course, you can filter by any means. I mean, this is something that's basically standard, right? So we have defined the roles, we have assessed the baseline, and now we have to basically spot the gaps, right? So just click on spot gaps. We directly jump here into the gap analysis part. And you can see here already, I get the warning, 2 people have no roles assigned. So we have to make sure that every person has a specific role assigned to him or her. And then you can directly see the shortfalls. So GDPR, we have major shortfalls because 40 are missing and they're critical. Customer empathy, some are missing. So basically what you can see here, you can directly assign the training or you can even plan the training using AI. So all that would be possible here. What you also can do, which is something extremely interesting and much neglected in many softwares that are out there, is the development pipeline. So let's say you have, for example, here Ryan Foster. Ryan Foster is a customer success specialist, but you want to develop that person to become a customer success manager. So to come up, basically, jump up the scale. I don't know how to say that. So basically, you have the person here who has these roles, but who still has some skill gaps, right? And you can directly see, as a specialist, the skill gaps he has, and even as a manager, if we were to change him, updating the role, and you can also see what about the path, what is still missing, is 57% ready to take that, and what other, what other skills are missing in order to take that role. So this is also something that you could directly see here. Then if we go on to the dashboard again, you can see we've spotted the gaps. Basically, what we can also do is just see the hiring requests that come in by the managers. So I might show you just in a couple of minutes that when the manager wants to do a project or has some certain tasks and could just request new hires. So what we do then here is we could look and open this business case and say, this is some manager requested me to get a new product designer. Let me just open that business case. And now you can see, well, option A would be to upskill internally, and option B is to hire externally, right? So if we would hire externally, we would pay $31,000 because it would take like 10 weeks for us, because we have to recruit them. That costs XYZ. We have a vacancy cost that we have to take into account. So, and you can directly also calculate the return at ROI. That goes automatically, right? Based on what are those information? Well, down here, you can do those assumptions. I mean, you can see, okay, we have a recruiting fee. Normally, if you hire some recruiters to do the job, they normally take 20, 30% of the salary of a year or something. I mean, at least in Europe, it's like that. Then you have a certain vacancy cost and you have time to hire. So you can basically set those variables as you see realistic. And then it would automatically build this business case. And it would also see what are the internal candidates, what are the alternatives. And we have Sophia Rossi already. And actually, she's not missing any skill to do that job, right? So now there's also the option that we could just already use the employees that we have in our company to do that job. Maybe that certain employee even wants to develop, wants to change, wants to do something new. And this would be something that gets visible in this exact moment, right? But then, of course, you get risk notes because the system automatically sees, well, if you move Sophia Rossi into this role, then of course it vacates their current position. So we have to have a plan to backfill the position of Sophia Rossi. So what you get here is not only the economics and the whole overview, but you also have basically an assistant by your side who gives you information on what consequences that brings, right? Yeah, and so this would be something that is extremely helpful to many. Until now, got only positive feedback on that, because this is normally nowadays done by a gut feeling. I need someone, I don't know who can do it, so let's just hire someone new for that position. And what happens if you do that without actually looking into your own workforce is you might lose someone who would want that position, who would want a change, and then knowledge automatically is lost out of your workforce, right? Because that people would just leave the company over time, go find something else somewhere else, instead of just developing inside the company and filling that position. But with the difference that that person also drags along all the knowledge of the company and all the knowledge in other departments, whereas a new person would have to learn everything from scratch. So there's of course also some hidden costs that we also have to keep take into account, keep in mind. Yeah, and so training request is basically something similar here. Here we have a hiring request. Now we have training requests. So basically the managers can say, okay, I have this one person, but he's just missing one skill. Can you please, HR, get me a training for my employees so that that person can actually do the task? And those requests come in here, and you can just read through it. You can go into detail, look into the context. Why was that? So there was a topic that the manager was talking about. We want to design and build a new mobile app, and for that we need those required skills. But we are missing some training in order to get those skills. So please just organize those trainings so that we can get going in our project. So all that would be also coming in automatically here. So basically the whole communication with the management department and so on, with the management of the departments is included in this software. All right, then we go to the training, right? So what we do then is then we assign our employees to the courses that we have, and the courses themselves, they are either external, hybrid, in person. They can be online only, so self-paced. This is all in here, and I will just show you an example on that in a second. Don't worry, we'll go through all those. So basically what you have here, you have the courses that are listed. You can assign those courses so that the employees can start learning, and you can even create learning paths. A learning path is basically a set of courses put together in order to reach a certain goal. Like, for example, new employees, they might need a course for first aid, and another course for compliance, and another course for the company's mentality or whatever, the company's goals and so on. So all of this you can put together in a certain learning path, right? And this would be automatically assign the whole learning path to the employee, and that would be all done automatically, all assigned automatically. What you also have then is training events. So let's say you don't have the courses on your platform, but you want to send your employees to some training event, or let's say even individual employees to something that is somewhere else in some other location. You can also manage those here, right? And you can even say about those training events, if you were to open one, you could see exactly where it is, how much it costs, how many seats, whatever, what the evaluations of them are. And what you can also do is, what skills do my employees receive in the end after having finished that course? So what skills do they have then? And if you do this and they come back after the course and they have attended it and all fine, then you can directly see that it will be added to the skill matrix that we have, that I've shown you earlier, right? The skill matrix over here, your employees will be awarded those skills, right? So automatically done in this whole software. Then, of course, you have mentorships. Also, this is important. If you have new people coming in, then you want your current employees to support them on the way. So you can just manage the mentorships here. And then the mentee and the mentor, they will all see this in the dashboards, who is supervising them, who is supporting them. And even the mentor get some nudges and information on what he should do next in order to support his mentee, right? So this is also support that is included, AI-driven inside the software. In the end, of course, what we also have is reviews, right? So then what we do is, let's say we start a new review, then we can just select an employee and say for which cycle, right? And let's say Grace Lee, let's see if that person has done something. Yeah, then we can review that person as a, let's say, as a manager. And I could say, well, at the last review, Grace Lee was in negotiation intermediate. The target is advanced, and now I think that person is advanced, so I just give it the advanced. So that now the result, it is met, right? So the skill gap is being closed after training, after basically some on-the-job training, also possible. But this is something that the manager would do. The manager would go ahead and just review or give reviews to all of his employees and give a feedback. And the employees, on the other hand, they then receive the feedback also inside the software, and they acknowledge the feedback so that they can say or give some feedback on that. I think maybe they have another opinion or whatever, right? So then they can just come into contact and talk about it. But then what would happen is the skill gaps. This is the whole goal of this whole setup, is to close the gaps, so to make our workforce as perfectly aligned as possible to the goals that our company has. And this is the way in order to receive the feedback, you need those reviews, right? And this is how it is implemented here. In the end, the manager would just submit it, and now it's submitted. Now Grace Lee, on the other hand side, would need to basically give a feedback on that, say acknowledge it, that he has seen it, and then also there's an overall rating, strengths, development goals, and so on. And so basically this helps manage it. Reports are also here, of course, because this is something extremely important for HR themselves to have like a whole overview. If we were to look at everyone individually or every department individually, it's impossible, not for big companies, even up to 1,000 employees and so on. So this is something that's, of course, integrated here. Might not be so interesting for smaller companies, but still you can go in extreme detail. And I think it's important to know that we can do that, right? So if we would just go into a course drill down, and I don't know, let's, for example, cybersecurity awareness. So we can see exactly what they have been doing and when, right? For example, this one just did one quiz, and that was on 24th of June. That was today, actually. So today, one interaction, and that was the one that I did in preparation, actually. So that might be it. But you can see exactly on that person what the course progresses are, what is completed, what not, what's the assignment status. I mean, all of this, 128 overdues. You can go into extreme detail and actually also look into the effectiveness rates and see the ratings. For example, first aid and fire safety is something that's external. You can see there is a cost also behind it, 3,600 euros in this case. And you can also see what do the employees think of how good it actually was, right? Was it worth going there? Or should we maybe next time go and search some other trainings? So this is something that's also inner reporting available here. Of course, exportable as PDF, CSV, perfect for to show it directly to the C-suite, right? So yeah, so far so good. Then let's just go into it from the manager's view, which might be interesting because here we have some differences. Of course, not so filled up because the admin sees everything, right? But here we can say in the skill matrix, we would see way less people because as a manager of the department, I only care about my employees. So I can only see my employees. I can see also the gap analysis, but only of my employees. And I can see also the assignments of the courses of my employees, right? So that's the main difference. But here is something that's a specific feature for the manager. There is a skill planner. So let's say I have a task, for example, I want to launch an AI-assisted support workflow, and I need, to identify the gaps that we have in my workforce for of my people. Then I could directly see the required skills. AI would just extract the skills necessary for that task. For example, team leadership, cybersecurity awareness, AI-assisted support workflows, and so on. And then it would say those people would be able to do it, right? Because they are quite near to fixing that. But for example, Olivia Park, she has two things missing, And then what you would do is basically directly request and you would request a training, or you could also request a new hire. So this is something that basically where it connects to the HR admin or to the HR personnel. Here, the manager plans whatever he wants to accomplish, what his goal is, and then via simple button clicks or via analysis with AI, you can just directly uh, acquire or directly request new courses, right? So this is all included in here in this course manager. And then we can, of course, see the requests that are pending, that are still under review. So all this is here. And this is exactly what I said earlier with the employee. Whenever we have to create a review, we can see it here, right? And so we can also see the status. For example, Bob Martinez, that was submitted, but that was acknowledged already. So the employee has seen it, has accepted it, and then it's so far so good. So everything is tracked from skills over reviews, and even over trainings, and also over the business cases that lay behind it, right? Let's look at it from employer view, which is like one of the last things that I just want to show now, where you have your dashboard as an employee. And you could just see that I have to review and acknowledge review. That was something that's directly pops up on the start, and then it also tells me really in a gamified way, I'm 85% ready for customer success specialist. So it's just like a couple of skills that I'm missing that I have to work on. So I directly can see this as an employee myself, and I can also see who's mentoring me. That's always like this question. If you come in your company, you start up fresh, you don't know who is taking care of you, start to run around like a headless chicken to try to find where to go, what to do. So this is something that is basically taken care of here by the platform as well. Once it is assigned automatically, then it's all set and the employee knows what to do. Here it also states again the skills that one has, and also the learning path. For example, here we can see my learning paths is, for example, new employee onboarding, but could be in the future also something, the path to leadership, right? Where it is like specific paths, specific courses in order to acquire specific skills to become a team lead for a whole group could also be an option, or even of a whole department, right? But here I can also see the overdue courses, so what is still left to do, what do I have to, which gaps do I have to fill still, and which deadlines are upcoming, right? So this would be here. Then I can see the courses. So the courses would be something that is actually available here online that I could just look at. Let's say, for example, the safety training. Here I can see I'm in progress, 22% already done. And now let's just open one of those and look into it. And it would look like somewhat like this. So basically you have a course. A course can contain texts, explanatory text. It can include videos. It can include summaries, even quiz questions. I mean, all of this is included. You have also the option to add flashcards, where you can just click on through flashcards. And there are many more, even AI based. So we have things where, for example, for sales, that's great. You have an AI assistant that acts like as if it was a customer, right? And then you have to go into a dialogue directly inside the learning experience and basically speak to the AI customer. And then in the end, AI would just analyze the whole talk you had with the customer and give you feedback on it. So it's incredibly interactive. So these are just like the most basic kinds of learning types you have here, but it goes really deep. So this is why I asked also in the beginning, what is important? Because the software has so many facets. It goes into each and every kind of stakeholder very deep. So this is why I tried to narrow it down in the beginning, right? Then we have, of course, my own skills, where I can see my skills, where I can see my open trainings that are coming up. If I have like a wish list, if I want to join some training, I can also edit here or signal the interest here. As I said, I can look into my skills again into more detail. And in the end, this is like the most important part. I can manage my skill profile myself as well. So it means that if I'm sales manager, but I still in private, I just love to work with Figma, I can just set it here. So now it says that I'm intermediate in Figma, right? Of course, it has to be in the end checked and double checked with the manager and so on. The manager gives reviews on what he thinks you really are, what your real level is, and so on. But nevertheless, what this does, it opens up, basically uncovers hidden opportunities I mean, you have your workforce, they are not born to be just one role. They usually, it's normal that those people also have other capabilities that are just not known. So this would just uncover this. And later on, if you have a new task, then you would see, man, this new employee or this employee just needs one more skill to fill that gap. And we don't need to hire a new person for that, right? So this is something that gives you here the opportunity. So if the employee fills out all the skills and makes suggestions on new skills and so on, this would be something that's extremely helpful. And of course, we have certificates that can be added here to the course after finishing a course and so on. And those certificates can also be verified, right? So this is like in this case not so important, but in the case to show something externally, externally meaning if you have some important compliance certificates that you want to showcase externally, then you can just click on verify, and then they will receive a public page that they can access, whoever has to check it, and they would exactly see who received it and so on, what the certificate's name is, what the code of the certificate is. So all this is just reviewed, reported, and all included in the platform. Okay, so far so good. I think we have covered most of them. The external trainer, and we can skip that for now. In this case, I mean, it goes into very deep. It's impossible to cover it all now in an hour, but hopefully it has been a good first impression. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Mr. Ahmad. Can
Hello.
you hear me? Hello.
Yes, it's clear.
Yes,
Hello.
okay. So, okay, thank you so much for the heads up. Okay, basically, it's very interesting. I'm very interested in I saw your like 4 courses and the link to the employees, right?
Mhm.
So it's quite interesting actually.
That's great to hear.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I will check back for this on this. I think this one is abstract or website.
That's
We
a web
have
app. That's a
web
web
app.
app. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
website. Mhm.
Sure. We can download on the handphone. Oh.
No, but it is optimized for smartphone use. So you can open the website on the browser on a smartphone, and it just adjusts perfectly to the size of a smartphone. But it's
Oh.
not an app to download. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So for the employee, is each employee will given an access or only for the HR side?
No, of course, each employee will be given an access, and as well as HR, as well as the admin. I mean, it depends on your
Mm.
structure. Mhm.
Yeah, understand. Okay, sure. Oh,
Sorry,
okay. Uh,
Shakila.
yes, speaking.
Your how many employees do you have in your company?
Actually, Khalil, not so much, around 70 plus.
Okay,
Uh,
manageable. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, manageable. Actually, we are
Yeah.
manufacturing company, and actually, I'm looking forward to train them
Mhm.
how to improve them, how to change their mindset. Actually, they're so comfortable. They don't want to
Mhm.
improve their skill and knowledge, and I also cannot find the solution how to improve, how to track all their development and skill. So I saw your
Mm,
website. It's quite interesting.
mm.
uh,
Okay.
Okay. So, but I'm sorry, actually, I have a meeting at 11.
Oh yes, never
No
Yeah,
worries.
okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So,
Shakila, my staff will contact you. Maybe
mm-mm.
then we can have a further discussion after you have talked internally with the relevant stakeholders.
Sure. All right.
Ah, maybe
Oh,
let's say we follow up with you by Thursday or Friday.
sure, can.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
So, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Okay.
Shakila.
Terima kasih.
All
Thank you
right.
Thank you,
for
Shakila.
having here.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye.